Let me ask you, do you feel you have good people in your life? Do you have honest friendships and relationships? Or are those relationships at all one-sided? I want you to answer these questions honestly. It's something to think about. The truth is, developing honest friendships within the Hollywood trenches is all too often not real. Sometimes those we have known for many years turns out to be good-time friends once your success fluctuates. Key words here, your success. Remember that. I'm going to share with you my personal story that takes place around Emmy, or better said, her Hollywood backstory, and the value of true friendships in this business. And for young aspiring content creators and filmmakers joining the ranks of a new Hollywood generation, this directly applies to you. That's coming up. Welcome to Hollywood Unapologetic. My name is Orlando Delbert. I wanted to speak a little bit about filmmaking essentials, my Hollywood backstory of Emmy, and the values of true friendships in the entertainment business and how it applies to the new Hollywood generation. I should mention before we get into it, I first wrote about some of what we're about to touch upon, success in filmmaking and life, and how it applies as part of the new Hollywood generation when I was writing Pollyanna's tear-soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, Survival Guide Against the Cynicism and Hypocritical. We want to know your questions, comments, and idea suggestions you may have. Please write them below. Leave a thumbs up if you like what you see. Make sure to click on the subscribe button. Click that bell so you don't miss anything. Be sure to check out the videos in the playlist. You to Film Production, start here. Be sure to watch all of the way through. We're going to speak about a lot of things as part of being best prepared. Remember, preparation is the key to you and your project's success. Today's episode is going to be mostly off script. It's going to get personal, and the reason for going off script, in part, has to do with a special little lady coming home the day after Christmas, thanks to another very special lady and her wonderful family. Now, here's the reason I'm off script. Well, for most of this episode. This lovely lady was with a friend for several years, and there's a bit of a story behind it. Wanted to tell you a little bit about Emmy. This is Emmy. Some of you already know I became ill several years ago. Shortly afterwards, I was cut out of the entertainment industry. Within 12 hours afterwards, to be exact, I was blacklisted. I was disappeared, as I've been told, largely to not have ever existed at all. I find that to be quite ironic, being I've worked on hundreds of motion picture and television productions, thousands of episodes that have aired on television, not to mention the hundreds of studio recordings as a musician, and the live performances on stage and on camera. Never existed, huh? Without getting too much into those specifics, the end result has left me disabled. It took me several years to basically regroup, since within those 12 hours, my career was basically over. I didn't get a single job for years. People I have known for many years prior to this called me to wish me dead. Some showed up at my home and threatened me with bodily harm, physical violence, simply because I could no longer serve them or be of service to them. I wasn't able to work anymore. It was a very strange experience, but not at all unique to the entertainment industry. In that process, as I'm attempting to regroup, my health was fading. For me, it was really tough as I was downsizing and putting things away. I'm a couple of years into this at this point. I got back my first Emmy, which is this one, my first national Emmy anyway, because my mom passed away. Actually, I got it back from her shortly before she passed away. Right before, yeah. This was the one I actually gave her, my very first one that I gave her. For those who don't know, my mom, Nancy Dilbert, was a pioneering woman of television. She produced, directed, and starred in a children's show in Cuba called Tata's Quentas, Quentos. My understanding it still runs today, I believe, more than 50 years later. 50 or 60 years on the air, something like that. Wow, I just did a Google search and found an article starring Celia Torriente wrote an episode of a puppet musical group in 1970 on the program. It also stated the show began airing weekly on television in 1963 with no mention at all of my mom. I shouldn't be too surprised since my mom told Fidel Castro directly to his face no when he asked her to teach communism to the children. My mom and dad were very influential in my life to being in this industry we're in. My dad, Eddie Sanchez, was best known for being a photojournalist and photographer, but was key in building sets and puppets for my mom's theater troupe in New York in the 70s. My dad passed away when I was young. Not too long after that, my brother, sister, and I raised ourselves, my being the youngest one. My memories of both of them aren't that many, unfortunately, even less now since the stroke. But I still have an influence from them. So let's fast forward several years. I get to Los Angeles after working on quite a few entertainment productions and related projects and business ventures in New York and Miami, several dozen. After 2.5 years of being in Los Angeles, I get this golden girl. When I finally got her in the mail, I ended up having this little plaque at the bottom put on at an award shop near the 20th Century Fox Studios lot I was working at the time. Can you see that? And it says, "Thank you, Mom, for making me who I am. I love you." I don't know if you can see. So that's that. I was fortunate enough to be part of an award-winning team while I was at Fox. That year, our team had 2 nominations and won 1 out of the 2. Out of the 4 years I was with them, we had 4 nominations over 3 consecutive years and won 3. So I was fortunate enough to be with a really good team. So the first one, after being in LA for 2.5 years. So when I received this one, I sent it to my mom in Miami where she was living. And to my surprise, countless people, when they found out I gave it to my mother, would ask me, why would you do that? Why would you give it to your mother? Even today, that's an odd question to me. Why would I do that? Why would I not do that? That's just really strange to me. It's my mom. She gave me life, as well as, even though she was at a distance for most of my life, she was still an influence to me. Her body of work that spans decades internationally. So as my life is falling apart, I'm figuring out what I'm going to do with myself. Actually, before I get into that, a good friend of mine, Rene Bisson, he's an award-winning motion picture director, best known for being a production executive at one of the film studios, knocking out lots of films over the last several years. He flew in from LA, and my sister flew in from New York to Miami for a documentary I was producing on her, my mom. It was supposed to be about her life, her successes and such, and the film became bigger and bigger and bigger. So it was really cool. It was an actress named Mel Gorham flew in from New York together with my sister Laura Dilbert and Renee, as I just mentioned, to interview my mom. I love you, Mel. I love you, Renee. I love you, sis. Mel, upon arriving to New York, was, if I'm not mistaken, on 3 back-to-back Broadway productions. Oh, Calcutta, Hair, Smile, to name a few. She was also in Carlito's Way, Copland, Smoke, and several other feature films. Come to think of it, my sister also had her time in and around Broadway and off-Broadway too. Go sis! Fortunately for me, I had to stay in LA to finance this thing. I was working on the Dr. Phil show at the time. I wasn't able to go. But I have photos that my sister took of Renee interviewing my mom, giving this to her on camera. But as her health declined, I ended up getting the Emmy back right before she passed away. But because of the situation I mentioned before of my own health failing, not getting opportunities for work, I pretty much lost everything. I had to start over. And that's the thing about being blacklisted in Hollywood. Just about every door gets slammed shut in your face. It won't be available ever again. So for those who want to continue in this industry, they have to start over. Well, a good friend of mine, Laura Ramirez, thank you, Laura, she's also in our industry. She's a special visual effects picture cutter. She works on A-list effects heavy features. I ended up giving Emmy to her since there was so much uncertainty in my life. If I ended up losing every material position I own, the one thing I wanted to keep safe was Emmy. Fast forward 9 of 10 years, it might be 10 years, I'm not sure. I got Emmy in the mail the day after Christmas, and she was here, she was home. It was really touching for me. It was really hard, but it was a good thing. My point is, in all of this, in this industry, it is difficult to find good people, genuine people who are going to be loyal, who are going to be true to you, and what you're about, and things that you work on. And Laura in particular, she has stood by me all these years and held on to Emmy. She was never bad or weird about anything, about keeping her safe. I'm really grateful for her and her friendship. I love you, Laura. Point of all of this, when you find some good people to work with, hold on to them. Because in this industry, you just never know who is your true friend. You never know who has an ulterior motive. Real loyalties are very difficult to come by. So if you're able to get together a really strong, solid, cohesive core group of people to be around, hold on to them. That's why you'll see directors creating projects with the same people over and over again. They are the reason why. A big part of the reason why, because it's just very, very difficult. You may be asking yourself, why would he be sharing something so personal with us? What does any of this have to do with me? The reason is simple. As young content creators and filmmakers starting his or her journey as part of the new Hollywood generation, we have to be mindful of the relationships we have before we begin, as well as to keep an eye open to those we meet. We'll get more into that in a moment. Do you like my story of Emmy? Does my speaking about how my experience being blacklisted make sense? Does my speaking about why finding loyalties need to be held on to make sense? Does my speaking about your role as part of the new Hollywood generation make sense? If it does, write hashtag New Hollywood Generation in the comments below. That's hashtag New Hollywood Generation. One thing I noticed building professional relationships in the entertainment business is that they could either start off as a friendship or evolve into a friendship. This, of course, is just what should develop organically. Many times, however, there'll be talk of a breakthrough idea for a film or television program. You'll also notice that when interacting with even those you just meet, they too will have their own projects in the works. A common element between the two is that they emphasize the potential to make good money later. Many times, it's just a big jerk-off. One of the warning signs to look for is that they have several great projects in the works. Everything's in the future. They talk and pull information from you a little at a time. This can go on for several months and even much longer. Then they simply vanish into thin air, or they move on with their projects without you. It was just a ruse to see what information they can get, including a list of contacts from you, and sometimes even your money. This is followed by when you call them, and they are suddenly stricken with amnesia. That's just part of the game here. It's a roundabout way of conducting business that also bleeds into their personal lives. I bring this up simply as something to be mindful of in your travels here or anywhere in the entertainment industry. You will see this kind of behavior quite often as your professional and personal relationships grow. You'll have to learn how to decipher who is honest, who is forthcoming, who is wearing their game face, and who is just simply full of shit. This is especially true as your status grows and the potential for someone else to make money off of your efforts grows as well. There is not a lot of loyalty in the entertainment industry. People and companies are just looking to make money and don't care if they have to stand on your face, your talents, and your wallet to do so. People will shake your hand, smile, and lie to your face as money and opportunity are stripped away from you. This is an experience you will encounter over and over again. You have to pick your friends and your battles wisely. Fortunately, many of your relationships will be based on two perceptions: whom you know and what you could do for the person standing right in front of you. And once you're working at the film studios, television networks, some of the production offices and post-production facilities, you can see it as firsthand how people are. Of course, this isn't everyone. I don't wish to infer that. Please don't get me wrong, it certainly isn't the case. But in places like Los Angeles, it's just seen so much, it's hard to miss. These lines of thought stem from the things people will do under the stress of desperation, and signs of this are everywhere you look. You can see it in people's faces as you walk by them on the street or in the hallways of any studio. It's like a sickness. It's a problem throughout the industry. Makes me wonder what's worse: the facade that the media machines have created for us all to be rich, thin, beautiful, and famous, or the levels of desperate acts many will go to in order to achieve being rich, thin, beautiful, and famous. I'm in no way trying to discourage anyone from following his or her dreams. Following your dreams is something I wish more of us would do. I applaud you for doing that. I want you to know, without a doubt, that you are meant to do what you want to do. The bigger point that I'm getting at in this episode is about building family. This is something I speak and write about with regularity. Unless you came to Hollywood with your brothers and sisters and a trunk full of cash, you're going to need to build a solid support base. When things are going well, you will have plenty of friends. It's hard to know who will be there for you when things are not going so well. All too often, you just don't know. Whom you can count on is a hell of a lot more obvious when you're not working or sick and your support group vanishes. And for just about everyone in this business, when you're not working, it can be for many months, if not years at a time. Believe it. You will need to create relationships with people that care about you and not about your wallet or whom you know. Be mindful of actions more than words. Those actions will often showcase one's character and motivations, but assessing actions could be a tricky thing too. Sometimes we all get fooled. Please be mindful of whom you bring into your life, professional and personal life. Hold on to those great relationships that are filled with love and respect. And remember, true friendships are hard to come by. The ones that truly matter will love and care for you over time and distance, and some even take care of a golden girl of your own. Quick note, thank you to my sis, Laura Delbert, Renee Besson, and Jana Valdivia, Mel Gorham, Laura Ramirez, Lali Zambrana, Omar Kelly, Tony Haynes, Nadine El Curry, and Mark Volpe, Rebecca Borba, Juliana and Gloria Timisvari, DJ Brody, Whitney Moore and Jake Satterwaite, Wendell and Wesley Hubbard, David Gordon, Adam Treese and Ann Hamilton, and little Rocky Pacino for the help with Emmy's journey all these years, keeping her safe, and to our friendships all of these years. Sorry if I miss anyone. I love you. One more thing. As part of the new Hollywood generation, others just like you are asking the same questions of themselves. You are not alone. We're all in it together. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe and click on the bell to know when we have more for you. And more episodes are coming. Please share it with someone you know who may find what we spoke about today beneficial. Like if you like what you see, just like if you don't. And let us hear from you. Are you going to use what we discussed today? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. Please consider what I offered you today and consider what your role in as the new generation of content creators. Feel free to take advantage of other members in the new Hollywood generation community. We're all here to grow together and to help one another. And you know what? If there is a subject you want to know more about, I just want to say hi. Please do. These videos are designed to not only offer information to those who want to succeed in the entertainment space, but also fostering a community of new content creators of a new generation. the New Hollywood Generation. We have a strong group on Twitter. Come join the New Hollywood Generation and meet some of fellow filmmakers and content creators. As members of the New Hollywood Generation, take the time to assess what your short-term and long-term goals are. Make your plan, take a breath, go for it. You can do it once you believe you can. Are you ready for the challenge? If you're looking for filmmaking for beginners, Filmmaking 101, and for some filmmaking tips on how to want to be a filmmaker, make sure to click on the subscribe button. Click that bell so you don't miss anything. Looking for how-to filmmaking essentials? Be sure to check out the videos in the playlist. New to film production? Start here. Think of this channel as a film crash course, filmmaking crash course, and an introduction to filmmaking entrepreneurship to build the skills needed well beyond just how to succeed Hollywood and beyond whatever discussions other how-to film school, how-to indie filmmaking in general, how-to film industry channels just don't talk about. The whys you truly need to know to help you grow as a thought leader in life, the entertainment industry, and how it applies as part of the New Hollywood Generation is in this video series and in the Pollyanna's tear-soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical series of books, links below. Remember, preparation is the key to you and your project's success. Ready?